What's good? It's your boy JayThat'sMe. Let's dive into Monday Night Raw for August 7th, 2023. Pretty okay show for the most part. Still boring as usual, but okay nonetheless. This was more of a Triple H production, so it's a lot more work rate and everything else, which is okay. We are on the fast track to Payback. We already have most of the card already figured out, which actually makes sense. So it is what it is. So we kick the show off with Cody Rhodes. So Cody Rhodes gets on the mic and asks Minneapolis what they want to talk about. Cody says, how about on your own? A beast to sharpen his claws here. What's educated here? University of Minnesota's own Brock Lesnar. Cody goes on about how he had the privilege and honor and misery of being in the ring with Brock Lesnar. And that's one thing. We then see a picture of Cody and Brock shaking hands after their SummerSlam match. So Cody was talking to his mom about how surprised he was at the moment. She told him this was Lesnar acknowledging him. Cody says after SummerSlam he feels like he's on top of the world, like he can beat anyone in the world. Out comes Seth Rollins. So Seth stares down Cody. Seth Rollins welcomes us to Monday Night Rollins. Seth Rollins says when he previously came out to discuss the title, Cody was the first one to come down and get in his face. So this is Rollins returning the favor. Seth Rollins says if Cody really means he can beat anyone, how about putting that feeling to the test tonight? Out come the Judgment Day, Damian Priest, Rhea Ripley, and Dominic Mysterio. Damian Priest says Seth Rollins and Cody Rhodes are confused if they think they run Raw. Rhea Ripley says the Judgment Day is. Damian Priest says they don't dictate title shots either because that's his job as Senior Money in the Bank. Damian Priest praises his stablemates and says Cody may be done with Lesnar, but Dominic Mysterio is not done with Cody. And then Dominic and Cody, they face off and stare each other down. Damian Priest says Dominic is the true workhorse of the WWE, not Cody. So Dom goes to speak, but he's drowned out by boos. Out of nowhere, Finn Balor attacks Seth Rollins, and we have a brawl scene that goes on. So Priest and Dominic, they jump Cody. Sami Zayn comes out and makes the save, and we all have a good little brawl scene. Then Cody gets on the mic and says he has a solution for all of this. Cody says there's 3 of us and 3 of you. How about team up with my friend Sami Zayn and Seth Rollins to take on the Judgment Day? So Cody and Seth have some words, and then Sami tries to play Peacemaker. So pretty okay way to start the show, I guess. The first hour was commercial free, so we got a lot accomplished in the first hour. I think we had 3 matches in the first hour, I think. But okay way to start the show, I guess. Who gives a shit? Moving on. So Ricochet is in Adam Pearce's office earlier this afternoon. So Adam Pearce admits that he saw Logan Paul cheat to win at SummerSlam, but the referee's decision is final. Pearce apologizes to Ricochet. He ends up bringing Matt Riddle, Tommaso Ciampa, and Chad Gable, and then announcing a fatal 4-way to determine Gunther's next challenger. They all talk themselves up. And this is our first match of the night. Fatal 4-way for the number one. My bad. It's a fatal 4-way, number one contender for the Intercontinental Championship. So Chad Gable gets the win here via the Chaos Theory. Pretty okay match. Very work rate heavy. Great stuff there. So the end was when Gable, he hit Chaos Theory on everybody, and then he ended up hitting up Chaos Theory on Tommaso Ciampa for the 1, 2, 3. So that's fine. It makes perfect sense there. Great shit there. Glad that Gable won. He got a really good pop. Post-match, Chad Gable grabs his son, and he runs around with him at ringside, and the fans cheer him on. So that was beautiful. That was, really good shit there. Really good stuff. Moving on. So, Seth Rollins, Sami Zayn, Seth Rollins, and Cody Rhodes are all backstage. There's tension and some arguing as they prepare for the main event. Rollins doesn't like Cody, and Sami discussing strategy without him. Rollins says he doesn't want to be on a team with Cody. Sami says he's tired of the Judgment Day, as am I. They injured Kevin Owens, and now they have the chance, as three of the very best, to stand together and take care of them. They all say they're cool, but there's obvious tensions that remain, and then everyone walks off. Moving on. So, backstage, Miz, he's waiting to do a photo shoot. He thinks this place is a dump, and he's ready to get out of here. So, a production assistant tells Miz he'll have to wait for his photo shoot. Miz asks why, and the camera looks over to LA Knight posing for photos. Miz is not happy about this. Miz says, this guy wins one battle royal, and now this. Miz refuses to wait on LA. And then he walks off. Oh, boy. The LA Knight Miz stuff was fucking tremendous. Tremendous shit. That was great. Nakamura versus Bronson Reed. Shinsuke wins via the Kinshasa for the 1-2-3. Makes perfect sense. So I'm fine with that. I mean, it was a solid match for sure. Solid match. So, Raquel Rodriguez. She is in Adam Pearce's office, along with Indy Hartwell and Candice LeRae. So you know good and damn well Triple H is booking this show if we see Indy Hartwell and Candice LeRae. So the trainer explains to Adam Pearce how serious Raquel's injury is. Raquel has to understand that she's just not ready. Adam Pearce offers words of encouragement and tells Raquel just to hang in there. And so Indy and Candice LeRae, they offer support for Raquel Rodriguez. To Raquel Rodriguez. I'm fine with this, I guess. Not really that important. Moving on. So, Maxine Dupree, she's on the phone with someone. I don't know who it is. And then she's talking to Otis, telling him stuff for later. So, Ludwig Kaiser interrupts, and he says he came to congratulate Chad Gable on his Fatal 4-Way win. Kaiser says Gunther is already looking forward to wiping the ring with Gable's body. And then Maxine Dupree says, ew, and tells Ludwig Kaiser to leave. Kaiser says he's had his eyes on Maxine Dupree for weeks. He thinks she has a lot of potential. And there are some in the women's locker room that are better than her. Kaiser goes on about his European looks and says Dupree should leave that disgusting beast, Otis. No, my bad. He says big disgusting beast, Otis. So he proceeds to knock Otis to Dupree until she slaps him. So Otis shows up now. He has words with Kaiser, then challenges him to a match later on. Kaiser says he will see Otis out there, and he will be seeing Dupree as well. So, moving on. Becky Lynch is out next. She talks about how being so close to the end after months of dealing with this, she's tired but ready to put an end to this charade for good next week when she gets a rematch with Trish Stratus. Becky Lynch says it will be the greatest of that generation versus the greatest of this generation, and the next, 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 to infinity. So Becky continues on with her promo, but she's interrupted by Zoe Stark. And I'm like, oh my God, no, please no. So Zoe Stark gets on the mic and says that she and Trish Stratus have defeated Becky. Zoe goes on and says this is about the man being scared of Zoe. So Zoe says that the man left her balls at home. Becky Lynch asks Zoe what's she doing and goes on to praise her for her in-ring work. Becky says Zoe Stark plays second fiddle to Trish and has latched onto her, and no matter how good she is, she's too stupid to do the right thing. Zoe Stark says she didn't play second fiddle to anyone. Zoe agrees that she is excellent in the ring. No, she's not. Zoe Stark goes on, says that she's the greatest rising superstar in WWE. Out comes Shayna Baszler. So Becky Lynch says Shayna looks tough. Baszler says, well, you should see how Ronda Rousey looks, but you won't be able to because she's not here tonight. Shayna Baszler says she beat Ronda at SummerSlam and drove her out of the WWE, so the fans cheer. Shayna Baszler asks Zoe Stark, who's the baddest now? Zoe Stark says Baszler just looks like the baddest punching bag. And then they have some words. Zoe Stark threatens to send Shayna Baszler out of the WWE, just like Ronda Rousey. They face off. Becky Lynch says, those sound like fighting words. So how about fighting right now? Becky Lynch calls out Adam Pearce, and he makes the match official. Oh boy. Moving on. So we go backstage. Finn Balor's talking to JD McDonough. Damian Priest walks up, and he says he and Balor need to talk, meaning away from JD. Balor says anything Priest needs to say to him, he can say in front of JD. He's known him for years. Priest brings up how Balor didn't come out with the Judgment Day earlier tonight, which was the plan. Balor says Damian Priest didn't follow the plan at SummerSlam. Damian Priest said he went out there to make sure Balor won a world title. But even with his help, Balor lost. So Finn continues on saying maybe he lost the SummerSlam because of Priest. And then Finn Balor and Priest, they stand face to face now. Balor says the Money in the Bank contract is getting in the way, in their way. Damian Priest says Finn Balor is crowding his space right now. So Rhea comes into play. Rhea says they need to act like men instead of children. Rhea tells Finn Balor how they all came to help him at SummerSlam, but just for one night, it didn't work. Rhea says she needs them to get on the same page so they can get back to running Raw. Damian Priest and Finn Balor hesitate, but agree and to amend the tension. So JD says this may not be his place to speak, but the briefcase is getting between Finn Balor and Damian Priest, so they should get rid of it. JD walks off, and Finn Balor follows. So Damian Priest is upset with JD, but Rhea holds him back and tells him to ignore JD because he's not in the Judgment Day. Interesting stuff there. Interesting stuff. I'm fine with this. So we all know where this is going, that Finn's going to end up being kicked out of Judgment Day, and he's going to bring in, he's going to side with JD, if we're being honest. That's where things are going. Moving on, Shayna Baszler versus Zoe Stark. Shayna Baszler wins. Not really that important. So Byron Saxton is backstage with Shinsuke Nakamura. Nakamura says he's tired of people getting in his way, but tonight he won, and from now on, he will carve his own path. So the interview is cut short. We hear things being knocked around. So Saxton and the cameraman, they run over to find JD attacking Sami Zayn, beating him down. And then officials tell JD to leave as they check on Sami Zayn. Okay, that's fine. This leads us into Otis versus Ludwig Kaiser. Ludwig Kaiser wins. Gunther gets involved. I think he does a powerbomb to Otis or something like that. I wasn't paying attention. Next. This was tremendous. Miz, LA Knight. Tremendous. Absolutely fucking tremendous. The highlight of the night. The gem of the night. LA Knight and The Miz. Excellent promo segment. I love this. Tremendous. So Miz is out there. He rants about how people stop showing respect to veterans. He mentioned how the fans all love this LA Knight guy. Miz goes on about how he's a veteran and a locker room leader. He was taught to show respect, introduce yourself. When you walk into a locker room, shake hands. Miz is so sick and tired of the lack of respect from the so-called crop of new talent. Out comes my boy, LA Knight, to a massive pop. That building was lit. So LA Knight gets on the mic and says he thought he introduced himself just fine in the Battle Royal, but that doesn't work. He introduces himself right now. So LA Knight offers his hand for a shake, but Miz refuses it. So Miz goes on ranting on LA, saying he's what you get when you strip away all the good from Miz. He's nothing but a flavor of the month. Miz goes on and says he thinks LA is nothing but an Attitude Era fanboy playing cosplay in his ring. Damn, that was fucking beautiful. That was fucking beautiful. I love that. So LA says he doesn't have a problem with the Miz, but trust him, Miz does not want to make this personal. So Miz fires back and says he takes his career very personal. He goes on about his history in WWE and his accomplishments. So Miz is fired up as he says he made himself indestructible to anyone in the locker room. Miz says he's been here for 20 years, so what has LA Knight done? LA Knight says, so personal it is. LA says he's been making himself a dangerous man. He's been scratching and clawing and looking in from the outside while this place bet on all the wrong horses, including Miz. LA Knight says he was just waiting for the right opening. LA Knight says, here is Miz with his 20-year head start. He got that head start because he's safe. They know they could kick Miz around and kick him out of the locker room, and he would take it. LA Knight says he was always told WWE wasn't ready for him because he's a dangerous man. LA Knight goes on and says He's not to be messed with, and that's the difference between him and Miz. LA Knight says, good on Miz for all his title wins. LA Knight hasn't been there yet, but here he is on the climb to the top, and Miz's career is in the damn toilet. LA Knight says, if Miz wants to make it personal, he doesn't mind making Miz a stepping stone and walk over him to the main event where he belongs. So Miz is angry. He says he's the main event. LA Knight is on his level. So they face off. LA Knight says, prove him wrong. He's not going anywhere. So LA Knight drops the mic. Miz takes off his suit jacket. They have a big face-off. So Miz dips out and leaves. So LA Knight barely turns the other way. So Miz attempts to attack LA Knight with a cheap shot, and he attempts to hit a skull-crushing finale, but LA Knight blocks it into the BFT, blunt force trauma, for a big pop, and that's the segment. Fucking tremendous shit. Whoever produced this deserves a fucking raise. This was amazing. I love this. Absolutely loved it. Absolutely loved it. So before we get into the garbage Viking Raiders, we need to go back earlier on into the show about how Shinsuke Nakamura was the third man to be added into the six-man tag with Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins versus the Judgment Day. So Jackie Redmond tries to get an update from Seth Rollins and Cody Rhodes. Cody Rhodes goes to speak, but so does Rollins. Cody Rhodes tells Rollins to take this interview. He'll catch up with Rollins in a minute. Cody walks off. So Seth Rollins says Sammy wants to go, but doctors won't let him. So Seth Rollins says it'll be 2-on-1, but he's not sure if he can trust Cody. Nakamura walks up and offers to replace Sammy. Rollins says he's had a lot of respect for Nakamura for a long time, so let's ride. They shake on it, and then Rollins walks off, and then Nakamura smirks. So we see that the heel turn's coming. Okay, that's okay. All right, on to the Viking Raiders bullshit. So they have a backstage promo vignette. So Eric and Ivar say they're the Viking Raiders. Valhalla says after their victorious campaign, the gods have called. Eric and Ivar say they have answered. Valhalla mentions how they will go into battle and there will be a sacrifice. Eric and Ivar say this sacrifice will go to the gods. Oh, God. Ugh. So fucking boring. So this leads us into the Viking Raiders. So they are waiting in the ring. Out comes the New Day to a big pop. So this leads us into the New Day versus the Viking Raiders. The New Day get the win. Who cares? It's not really that important. It's good to see New Day back. I really don't care about the faction. They're super duper boring and annoying. But I'm glad that they're sort of kind of back. It's not really that important, though. I'd rather have them versus the Viking Raiders. The Viking Raiders can fuck off. They can go to Ring of Honor. Yeah, just go there. Just go to Ring of Honor. Tony Khan, can you please get the Viking Raiders and put them on Ring of Honor television? I don't even want those guys in Impact. Oh, boy. Like, the Viking Raiders, they suck. Moving on, so Byron Saxton's backstage with Becky Lynch. Asking about next week's match. Shayna Baszler interrupts and says she didn't need Lynch's help tonight and she won't ever need it. So Shayna Baszler says now she's done with Ronda Rousey. She has a whole list of scores to settle, and that means she'll be coming for the man. Becky Lynch says she's looking forward to it, and then Shayna Baszler walks off. Okay, that's fine. They'll probably start that feud probably around Payback, I would imagine. Moving on. So Jackie Redmond, she's backstage with the New Day. So they say it feels good to be back. Did the Viking Raiders sacrifice them to the gods? Kofi Kingston says no. They forgot the New Day are the gods of the WWE. Xavier Woods talks about the locker room and says they came back to inject some positivity into everything, and that includes winning the tag titles. And then they do the whole New Day Rocks chant. Oh my God. I hope it doesn't happen. I really hope it doesn't happen. I don't. I've been hearing rumors that Big E wants to come back. Hopefully he can, but if not, he's probably going to end up doing commentary. So I don't think that Big E will more than likely come back. I don't. To be honest, if I was Big E, I would not come back. I just wouldn't. After what happened, he's very fortunate to be walking and having use of all his limbs. So if I was Big E, I would take that commentary opportunity. I think that would be great. I think he would do well on commentary, if we're being honest. Moving on. So Michael Cole tells us that Sonya Deville, she suffered a torn ACL. And Michael Cole said that we will have to figure out what to do with the tag titles. So Wade Barrett sends best wishes to Sonya Deville and says they can't wait to have her back, which I do agree. I miss my girl Sonya Deville. She's probably going to be out until next year. Probably won't be back until, I want to say, either August or September of next year. Probably September of next year. Sounds more plausible. I mean, that's a real serious injury, and it sucks. I hate that my girl's going to be out for a year. I hate it. But, you know, accidents do happen, and they will happen. So, hopefully Sonya gets better. Wish her a speedy recovery. Hopefully she can come back in maybe 9 months or 10. Then the main event, which I did not watch. Before the match even took place, though, I saw that. So, Judgment Day comes out. Rhea Ripley is then attacked by Raquel Rodriguez. Raquel Rodriguez beats the shit out of Rhea Ripley. Then officials come out and separate the two. And then Rhea Ripley beats down Candice LeRae. So, Cody Rhodes ends up winning the 6-man tag via the Crossroads. Not really that important. I flipped my TV back to it. Towards the end of the post-match, all the babyfaces celebrate. So Sami Zayn, Seth Rollins, Nakamura, and Cody Rhodes, they all celebrate. Then out of nowhere, Nakamura knocks Seth Rollins on his ass with a Kinshasa, turning heel, which is great. And then we go off the air. So that makes perfect sense. I'm fine with this. My only issue is that Nakamura is not good on the mic. He's going to need a mouthpiece. I don't know who that can be. I don't know who it's going to be. I don't. But I'm fine with Nakamura versus Seth Rollins at Payback. I think that's fine. It makes sense. Overall, Raw itself was boring, but it was okay. The LA Knight Miz stuff was fucking tremendous. That was great. Nakamura turning heel was expected. They've been building towards that for a few weeks now. So, Cody doesn't have any direction yet, but it looks like it's going to be Dominic Mysterio and Cody again, probably at Payback. So, overall, Raw was okay, but what did you guys think? Please hit the like button, comment down below, and subscribe for more videos.